The Samsung Galaxy S27 Pro is shaping up to be a very different phone than early leaks. First, suggested Dan for anyone hoping it would be a smaller Galaxy S27 Ultra with the same ultra-level cameras. The latest supply chain chatter is delivering a serious reality check. What sounded like a dream device for fans of compact flagships photography power without the ultra size end up being something far more middle ground than people expected. The Galaxy S27 Pro name first started circulating online. The assumption was pretty straightforward. Many believed Samsung was finally taking the iPhone Pro approach to premium models, both clearly flagship level, both sharing the same core experience, and mostly separated by size. In that imagined lineup, the Galaxy S27 Ultra would remain the massive, no-compromise camera beast with every feature turned up to the max, while the Galaxy S27 Pro would deliver the same high-end cameras and processing power in a smaller, easier-to-hold frame for people who prefer comfort, portability, and one-handed use. That idea instantly made sense, because a compact Ultra is something Samsung fans have asked for repeatedly. Not everyone wants a giant phone, but plenty of people still want the best camera system Samsung can offer, the best main sensor, the best ultra-wide, the strongest zoom, and the most advanced image processing. A Galaxy S27 Pro that matched the Ultra camera setup would have been a headline-worthy move, especially in an era where smartphone cameras are often the number one. The reason people upgrade, but new information reportedly coming from supply chain insiders in South Korea suggests Samsung may be steering the Galaxy S27 Pro in a very different direction. Instead of being a smaller Galaxy S27 Ultra, the S27 Pro may become an in-between flagships, something that sits between the standard Galaxy S27 and the Galaxy S27 Ultra. That would mean a clear tier system, the base model for mainstream buyers, the Pro as a premium upgrade, and the Ultra as the full no-limits device. And one of the first red flags is the rumored region-based chipset strategy rather than giving every Galaxy S27 Pro buyer the same top-tier processor globally. Samsung may follow the same approach it has used on many previous Galaxy S generations. Snapdragon in some markets, Exynos in others. If the leak is accurate, Snapdragon could be limited mostly to the US, while other regions may get an Exynos variant. That matters a lot, because it can create real-world differences in performance, heat management, battery efficiency, gaming stability, and most importantly, camera processing. People often underestimate how much the chipset influences the camera experience. The ISP image signal processor, AI acceleration, HDR stacking speed, noise reduction, and even video features can vary depending on the S. So even if the camera sensors were similar on paper, a split chipset strategy could still produce noticeably different results across regions, especially in low light, portrait edge detection, motion shots, and high-resolution video. But the bigger issue for most people isn't even the chipset, it's the cameras. According to the latest claims, the Galaxy S27 Pro camera system may not match the Galaxy S27 Ultra's camera setup the way some early rumors implied. Not long ago, at least one leaker hinted that the Pro could share the same main camera and ultra-wide camera as the Ultra. If that were true, the S27 Pro would instantly become one of the most exciting Android phones of the year, an ultra-grade photo experience without the Ultra's large footprint. For mobile photographers, that would have been a huge win. It would mean you could get Samsung's best sensor performance, the best detail retention, and the best wide-angle versatility, while carrying a phone that's easier to fit in your pocket and more comfortable to use for long shooting sessions, travel content, and daily life. Now, however, sources are reportedly saying Samsung's plan is less ambitious than expected. Instead of being Ultra in a smaller shell, the Galaxy S27 Pro could deliver a camera configuration that's only an intermediate step better than the base Galaxy S27. But clearly below the Galaxy S27 Ultra, that kind of setup makes sense from a business perspective, because Samsung has to protect the Ultra's identity as the top camera phone in the lineup. If the Pro got too close, many people would skip the Ultra entirely, and Samsung has strong reasons to keep the Ultra as the ultimate option. The Ultra is where Samsung can justify the highest price, the strongest marketing, and the most impressive spec sheet. It's also the model that drives the biggest headlines, the best zoom, the most advanced sensors, the most wow camera features. If the Pro becomes too powerful, the Ultra loses part of its purpose. So if the current leaks are accurate, the Galaxy S27 Pro might end up feeling like a carefully limited device, premium and polished, but intentionally held back in key areas, especially camera hardware. They could show up in many ways: less advanced zoom, fewer Ultra-only sensors, smaller camera sensors, or even fewer high-end video capabilities reserved for the Ultra Dot. In other words, if you're expecting ultra-grade zoom hardware, a no-compromise camera sensor package, or the full flagship camera experience packed into a smaller design, the Galaxy S27 Pro could disappoint. It may still be a strong phone, but it may not be the compact photography monster many fans were hoping for. Some insiders even suggest the Galaxy S27 Pro could resemble a spiritual successor to Samsung's Edge style. Premium model, sleek, high-end, refined, and designed for users who want something more special than the base model. But that doesn't necessarily mean it will be the most extreme camera flagship Samsung can build. Instead, it could focus on balanced performance, premium materials, a high-quality display, and a flagship feel without fully copying the Ultra's camera superiority. Samsung's broader cost and supply strategy could also be shaping the Galaxy S27 lineup as a whole. Reports indicate Samsung MX is evaluating whether to use third-party display driver ICSDD is in some Galaxy S27 models to manage rising component costs. This matters because component pricing, especially memory, has reportedly increased significantly due to the AI boom. Global demand for DRAM, NAND flash, and specialized memory like HBM is surging, and that pressure affects smartphone manufacturing costs. When memory gets more expensive, phone makers either raise prices, cut margins, or trim costs elsewhere in the build. Samsung appears to be exploring cost-saving changes that won't be obvious to most consumers, like sourcing certain internal components from different suppliers. If Samsung moves forward with this approach, the base Galaxy S27 and Galaxy S27 could potentially adopt third-party DDS, while the Galaxy S27 Pro and Galaxy S27 Ultra may continue using Samsung's in-house system, LSIDD. Suppliers reportedly being evaluated include Anapass, DB Global Chip, Nevada, and Wanik D2i. Samsung is said to be comparing quality and performance. Before making any final call, all of this points to one clear takeaway. Samsung may be prioritizing product segmentation more aggressively than ever with the Galaxy S27 series. The Ultra remains the everything maxed out option. The base model stays mainstream, and the Pro, despite its name, could land in a space that feels premium but not ultra-equipped, potentially trading away certain top-tier specs like camera hardware, depending on region, cost targets, and lineup strategy. Of course, these are still leaks and early supply chain signals, and Samsung's final hardware decisions could change before launch. Specs see and shift, suppliers can change, and Samsung could still surprise everyone with a more competitive camera setup on the Pro model. But if you've been waiting specifically for a compact Samsung camera flagship that matches the Ultra feature for, it's smart to keep expectations realistic until more concrete. Camera specs are confirmed through stronger leaks or official announcements closer to release.